Well, back in my day, a saying that prefaces loads of tallish tales, like walking uphill both ways in the snow to school, and generally just pining for those simpler times of porch sittin', lemonade sippin', and just less stress all around. But what does back in the day look like? I'm Nostalgic Nick with Do You Remember? And today we're gonna have the best summer day we can possibly have because we won't be young forever. For everyone's homework, you gotta smash that thumbs up icon for us and subscribe to the channel for more. But hey, we gotta go. I hear the faint blaring of an alarm clock. Oh no, I'm late for school and that stupid current events report. Who cares about runaway inflation or an oil crisis anyway? I mean, I'm not waiting in line for gas. Okay, fine, I'm up. I reach for my iPhone to silence the alarm or snooze, but instead my hand slams into the giant solid brick of an alarm clock radio. After all, it's the 1970s, and the iPhone is still but a gleam in the eye of a pimply-faced youth spending too much time in garages. I smash the button on top of the alarm, and blessed peace descends once again in my room. When suddenly a realization hits me harder than the best Adam West pow uppercut. It's Saturday. Why in the heck was my alarm set? Cartoons. And not just any cartoon either. There's no SpongeBob or Paw Patrol on the air right now. We got the good stuff. And my favorite is Super Friends. I leap out of bed, my feet barely hitting the shag carpet before I'm flying out of my room and down the stairs, faster than the Flash. I take a quick pit stop in the kitchen. I definitely need fuel for the several-hour binge to come. I hurriedly empty the last of the Quisp into my bowl and shove the box back in the cabinet. There's no time to be irresponsible, and hopefully Mom is too distracted by the big barbecue to notice. I dash past Dad sitting at the kitchen table reading the newspaper, an actual copy, mind you, and he's muttering about how surely the Cubs were close to winning the World Series. Sorry, Pops, you're going to have to wait 4 or so more decades. I'm like a blur. I streak through the house because whoever gets to the TV first gets to pick between the only 2 channels showing cartoons this morning. Cable TV and 24-hour cartoons, after all, are just a distant and treasured dream of kids. And boom, I arrive mere seconds before my sister, cursing the fact that my parents won't spring for a new TV. Our ancient set has no remote, meaning I have to get up and walk the 8 feet to lower the volume or change the channel. It's outrageous. Little Timmy down the road loves to brag about his brand new remote control. But then again, he is rich. They have like 2 cars too. And finally, the cartoons begin. And oh my god, how wonderful they are. Super Friends, Scooby-Doo, Dastardly, and Muttley. I can't tear my eyes away from the screen, I won't. And since I beat my sister to the couch for the 2nd straight weekend, mind you, I don't have to watch any of that Josie and the Pussycats crap. But alas, all good things must come to an end, and after several hours of mind-numbing gloriousness, Mom, with her hair up in rollers and a cooking apron already sporting several shades of brown, thunders into the room and switches off the boob tube. Outside! You kids are gonna rot your brains sitting inside on such a beautiful day. To me, a little brain rot seems like a perfectly fair trade-off for the awesomeness of TV. But hey, you're the boss, I'm going. So I trot upstairs, grab my pair of Converse from under the bed, throw on my favorite Godzilla shirt. It's my Saturday shirt. Mom doesn't really care where I go as long as I'm in nature. The neighborhood is super safe. And again, these were different times. Heck, without cell phones, my mom will have no idea where I am, which is, I assure you, perfectly normal. Dang, it's hot out here. But with the perfectly blue sky and that smell of freshly cut grass from Dad pushing the lawnmower up and down the yard, I begrudgingly have to admit that Mom sometimes does have good ideas. But yeah, that heat is oppressive. So my first stop is to the hose on the side of the house. The water coming out of that sinuous green snake is as cool and refreshing as any I've ever tasted. I hop on my sweet red Stingray bike, the highlight of last Christmas that Captain Kangaroo so wonderfully suggested. And I tear down the drive. The baseball card stuck in my spokes makes me sound like I'm riding a brand new Harley. I am flying. I'm speeding faster than the heat. And I head to the local playground. And of course, my friends are already there, engaged in a manic game of tag. So I join in and soon find myself on top of the jungle gym. Cornered actually between my friend Steve, who's currently it, and the big slide down to the ground. What to do, what to do. This might seem like an easy decision for kids today, but keep in mind that back in my day, slides were made almost exclusively from stainless steel. And since it was the middle of the day in summer, that slide right there has gotta be the closest thing to the surface of the sun. Steve, slide. Steve, slide. As my buddy slowly advances, I make my decision. I choose pain. And I throw myself down the white-hot waterfall of lava. Steve chickens out. Yes! And I live to see another day in the game of tag, albeit with a few scorch marks on my legs. Tag slowly peters out. No one thought to bring water balloons, and whipping dirt clods at each other's heads eventually and painfully grows old too. It's at this point my friends inform me they're all headed over to Timmy's house. Timmy, really? You haven't heard though? He's got Pong now. Wait, what? Timmy had Pong? In his house? At his house? No way. I love video games, probably even more than the next kid, but the only arcade near us was way over on the other side of town. It's too far for us to ride our bikes. We only went when one of us could badger our parents into letting us all pile into their Ford Pinto or Oldsmobile station wagon and driving us over. But if one of the neighborhood kids, even if it was Timmy, had Pong at their house, I mean, this is game changing. We raced our bikes towards the promised land of glowing electronic tennis. But along the way, a familiar jingle reached our ears from one street over. The ice cream truck. Somehow my friends resisted the allure of the frozen confections, but I, being the glutton I am, and with a couple of nickels rolling around my pocket, head on over for some sweet treats. So I don't know what you all would get, please tell me in the comments, but this is my choice, and I opt for the Good Humor Push Pop, 15 cents, which I think is a little steep, and I am happily enjoying when the worst possible thing happens. My mom and sister, also drawn by the siren call of the greatest truck on Earth, appear from around the corner. And despite my plans for Pong world domination, my mom politely informs me that it's time to go home. The barbecue is starting soon, and I need to help out, whatever that means. And Dad immediately has me setting up folding tables and covering them with our red checkerboard tablecloth. Shortly thereafter, our guests start to appear, and before long, the enticing aroma of burgers and hot dogs fills the air. Some old person band is on the record player. I think it's some 60s group, Simon and Garfield or something, because my parents don't listen to anything cool and hip like Steely Dan. But get this, my dad even lets me help flip the burgers, which was fun at first until I see the other kids playing in the sprinkler, and my dad drinking a beer with no responsibility. I realize it is actually quite a tedious chore. I relinquish control over the spatula, and soon am too frolicking in the magical man-made rain from the ground. Soon the food is ready and I down a burger and 3 hot dogs. A personal record, mind you. And as the sun slowly sets, the other kids and I begin the most wonderful of summer pastimes, catching fireflies. And I capture a solid dozen or 12 even between my hand and the mason jar my mom has donated to my calls. As the parents slowly sink into a stupor, someone breaks out fireworks, and us kids engage in a friendly game of, hey, let's shoot bottle rockets at each other, because it's the 70s and there were less rules back then. Fortunately, no one loses an eye, not even dumb Timmy. But now I'm just plain exhausted from a long, perfect day. I stretch out on the grass of our lawn, too tired to move another inch. The grass is itchy on my neck, but as I stare up at the dark clouds, I slowly drift off to sleep. I don't even notice when Dad scooped me up into his arms and began carrying me off to bed. I stirred awake as he laid me back down into complete safety, but I act asleep because I don't really know why. I always wish I could go back and reciprocate a hug around his neck before he lets go. You never feel that safe again. But I'm not worried. I just had the perfect summer day, beginning with cartoons and ending with teleportation. Now if I could just scheme my way out of going to church tomorrow, I could do it all over again. We never forget that perfect summer day, or the best Christmas gift you ever received. That surprise skip day mom prepared just so you could see Star Wars. These are core childhood memories, and that's what we here want us all to remember. So get in the comments and tell us some details about your perfect summer day from childhood. Please give this video a thumbs up so our main character can buy another Godzilla shirt. And subscribe to the channel so you never miss a memory. But from all of us here at Do You Remember, we want to thank you for watching.